Yeah, I got bumped off for some reason. The YouTube app crashed. So how you doing, Winks? I don't know, maybe streaming with the old iPhone. I'm using the YouTube app, and I'm using my old iPhone 5S, and maybe that's just not going to work. Just have to use the old Ustream Logitech camera. For whatever reason, it just went offline. So anyway, I'm gonna go get some food real quick. A little lunch, early lunch. Fill up the gas tank and then head north towards New Bern. Yeah, no kidding, Winks, that was crazy. I'm working on the documentary of the 2017 season. Hope to have it finished by the end of the month or early February. It's very detailed oriented. Yeah, it crashed again. I restarted it, but of course I get a different stream link each time that happens, so that's not helpful. Probably hook up the Logitech that I have in here and just use that. It seems that since I have the heat running in here, the iPhone overheats and just shuts off, or at least the app crashes. So I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina right now at the Chick-fil-A. Yeah. Trying to figure out what I can do to keep the iPhone cool without making me freeze. So that's what it is. That's the iPhone is just getting hot from encoding and whatever. Put the windows down, right? I wish they had a camera like Ustream had that would stream directly to YouTube that was very simple and not expensive. Logitech made some for Ustream 5 years ago. They only had them in production for a year. Nothing exciting happening yet. Not here in Wilmington. Hey, Fifth Day Adventures. Thank you. It's too bad I can't order some Chick-fil-A for you guys. Yeah, Wink's becoming a insider subscriber. That's a good resolution for 2018. Hello there, may I get a number 3, 12 nuggets, with a large sweet tea and large fries, please.
Absolutely. Anything else for you today?
That'll do it.
All right. So I'll count 9 meal bars with a sweet tea from the 878 through the window, please.
Thank you.
My pleasure.
So you notice how the video is shivering. That's an indication that the iPhone is hot. So this probably isn't going to last much longer, and it's going to just shut off. And if it does that, there's nothing I can do. It's just the technology has to be able to evolve to handle this. I don't know if a newer iPhone would do better, but I mean, I don't want to spend $800 on an iPhone necessarily just to stream to YouTube. Now, if I knew that it would work flawlessly. So what I'll do, if this poops out on me, I'll put on the Ustream camera in its place. And you just go to Ustream. You remember Ustream, U-S-T-R-E-A-M, and just search HurricaneTrack. Hurricane T-R-A-C-K, all one word, and you'll see the live Tahoe feed from there. Those cameras, I mean, you have to smash them with a hammer to get them to quit. They're these Logitech broadcasters that they were made, like I said, 5 or 6 years ago now. And they're fantastic. They don't make them anymore, unfortunately. We bought a bunch of them, stuck them in the boxes for the remote cams, use it as a dash cam. But I might end up in Atlantic City, and somewhere near there, later tonight. Yeah, the iPhone is just so hot. I'm touching it. It's like, whew. I figured it would do better in the winter, but I didn't take into consideration that I'll be running the heater. It's not like it's 80 degrees in the Tahoe. But the processor and whatever is just too much. It's getting too hot.
Hello, you got 12 nugget meals, $8.72.
Thank you.
Thanks, have a good one.
You too. Oh, gotta keep that receipt. See if I can eat and drive at the same time. Yeah, no kidding. 10 years. When you say it like that, it's like, wow. Yeah, you got high surf advisories down there, and I mean, this is a heck of a storm. It's going to have the pressure that easily rivals a Category 3 hurricane. So once again, I'm in Wilmington, North Carolina. I'm going to be covering this winter storm. Hopefully I can do it live on YouTube, but the app is probably fine. It's probably, again, just the iPhone 5S here. It's an older iPhone that I had, a spare, after an upgrade, and so I use it to stream to YouTube using the YouTube app, and sometimes it crashes because it just gets too hot. If that's the case, often today I'll switch over to my Ustream feed. So just search HurricaneTrack on Ustream if that happens. But the goal today is to set out 3 cameras, probably one in New Bern, that's my next stop, and then maybe Elizabeth City, and then somewhere maybe in Southeast Virginia, and then I might go up either to Atlantic City or go down or out or whatever to the Kitty Hawk area along the Outer Banks, so that tomorrow I can report on conditions there. So one way or another, either on Ustream or YouTube, I'll try to be live all day. Annoying red lights. So it's just a little bit above freezing here. Yeah, Franco, I totally hear that. It gets real dicey with other people. Lots of traffic. Hey, you're quite welcome there. I'll refer to you as JDS. I love what I do. And this off-season stuff, like I said, it's a way to stay focused, stay sharp. Sometimes a good way to test out new equipment. So Carrie, you and Peter and John, all the folks on HurricaneTrack.com. How you guys doing today? Look at that. Come on now. So far, looking at radar, the precipitation is holding off from the Wilmington area. working for everyone? Question mark. Yeah. We'll have these ups and downs of temperatures this winter. And hopefully I'll end up in New England for at least one of these. I can't believe how much traffic there is. A lot of people out. This is crazy. There's a lot of traffic. Well, that'll make things interesting. Still amazed at how much traffic there is. Air temperature still 35 degrees. Not me. Other people, presumably. So this storm, not like a hurricane, even though it'll have hurricane force winds. The energy from this storm is coming from the atmosphere, temperature differences, and very strong winds in the atmosphere rather than total convective processes or thunderstorms because of the warm ocean. So it's what they call a mid-latitude cyclone. It's a big ocean storm with very cold air. So it's kind of like a distant cousin to a hurricane. And you have some of the same impacts as you would in a hurricane. But it is not a tropical cyclone that derives its energy solely from the warm water and the very humid air because of that warm water. That's the difference. So it'll have this giant wind field, and it'll look like a real big comma when it's all said and done. And it'll probably have a calm center or something like that, resembling an eye. It's a very good question. Yeah, it'll have hurricane force winds. Temperature's up to 36 degrees now. Still no precip in the Wilmington area. I'm leaving Wilmington now, up in Pender County. That's right, David. Hampstead, Holly Ridge area. Sorry, Daryl, we had to say goodbye. I neither speed nor do I partake of marijuana. So, have a nice day. I don't particularly think any of it's funny, so see you later. None of your comments were helpful. You didn't have any relevant questions, and you were being rude. And that's how we deal with that. Hey Tracy, good to be here. So, I'm on Highway 17 in eastern North Carolina between Wilmington and Jacksonville. And I'm heading towards New Bern, where I will be putting out one of our unmanned camera units that we use during hurricane season. And I'll do the same up in Elizabeth City, North Carolina, probably, and then somewhere near Norfolk or Portsmouth. That's my goal for today. And then I will probably go to Kitty Hawk. I was thinking about Atlantic City area. We'll just wait and see. I want to be near the coast tomorrow for the strong wind and blowing snow part. And the farther north I go, the more of it will happen in the early morning hours tomorrow. Unfortunately, down here and up in New Bern, it's going to be mostly tonight. And I can put the camera unit hopefully somewhere where there's light, but who's going to be up at 3 o'clock in the morning anyway? So the more north I go, the more of it will happen tomorrow. Does that make sense? Yeah. Well, the hurricane hunters were flying a research mission. If you heard about that, that is true. Temperature is really moderated around here since last night. When it was 15, 16 degrees around here. Now we're in the mid-30s. Coming up on Holly Ridge. Pull in here and get gas. Holly Ridge, North Carolina. Woohoo! Should be a Speedway gas station right up here. Used to be Hess. Where'd it go? I guess it's further up. I tell you what, folks, the air coming around the backside of this storm is going to be some of the coldest that we have seen in a long time for a lot of people. It is going to be really, dangerous. What's up with all this? What's up with everybody getting gas? What's the deal? We have, yes, good. All right, let me switch this up. There we go. Time to get some gasoline. Oh, God. Huh. Too cold. Even if it's 35 degrees, that's too cold for me. So, hey, Jenny, Okie Girl, a couple of people that you can follow on Twitter if you're on Twitter. Look up, well, it depends on where you are. Where are you, by the way? Tracy's in Western New York. Yeah, well, Andy, I literally have turned the heat off. So I'm really cold in here. I had to turn the heat off to keep the iPhone from freezing up. 27 up in Virginia there. Oops. Take a minute and look at the latest model guidance. Much easier to do when you're not driving, when you're not moving. slow. They must not have much gas in the ground. It's taking forever. The iPhone is warm, but it's not hot. So that's good. All right, 12Z GFS initialized at 7 a.m. Eastern Time. So let's go out 6 hours, which would be right about just about now. And then at 7 p.m. tonight, yuck. So 7 p.m. tonight, it shows a lot of like mixture, freezing rain, sleet, whatever, all along this route that I'm on, spreading into southeast Virginia. And then by 1 a.m. in the morning, the low is fairly far offshore of Hatteras, and everything starts to really change over. And then at 24 hours, by tomorrow morning, probably very, very heavy snow in northeast North Carolina, southeast Virginia, the Delmarva, and getting into southern parts of New Jersey. And then by 1 p.m. tomorrow, the heaviest stuff looks like eastern Massachusetts, Connecticut, Rhode Island, and Long Island. So, between sunrise and probably about 2 p.m. tomorrow would be the heaviest stuff for eastern North Carolina, North Carolina Outer Banks, so that's why I'm thinking maybe Kitty Hawk would be a good place for tonight. Yeah, it's 37 here where I am. Kind of weird. Oh, very cool. Thank you, Carrie. Just reading a couple of things real quick here. All right, let's keep moving up towards New Bern. There we go. I don't know if we're going to see that much in Wilmington. Models are showing more freezing rain or sleet or whatever than anything. Good morning there, JK. Good to see you. And the big gamer, you're asking about global warming. I'm of the opinion that there's just, I mean, you can't point to any one event and say, yep, that's because of global warming or climate change or whatever. That's my opinion anyway. And as far as that whole thing goes, there's no doubt that man is having influence on his environment. I think anybody can agree on that. But I don't think there's enough data over enough time to definitively blame mankind for changing the climate to this extent. It might be possible, but you know, we're also still, you know, not that far removed geologic time-wise from the last ice age. You know, you're coming out of an ice age. And even if the climate is changing, you know, just people need to adapt as best as possible. That's my take on that. But any one storm that people say that's because of global warming or whatever doesn't make a lot of sense to me. The cause and effect. I mean, usually after we have a big hurricane season, and Joe Bastardi pointed this out at Weatherbell, when you have a very high ACE index year, you usually have a really cold winter afterwards, which makes sense because, you know, you took a lot of heat out of the tropics, and maybe there's other reasons, but you look back at 2008, that was a big year with Gustav and Ike. look what happened. It snowed in Texas. And isn't that the last time it did that to this extent? Degrees. Highway 17 north, getting close to Jacksonville. Dad? I can't do FaceTime at the moment, I'm sorry. minus 40. Yeah. Darn red lights. Slowing me down. iPhone's getting hot again, so I gotta not put the air conditioning on, but turn the heat off so that it gets cold in here. When the iPhone gets hot, it makes the processing wiggly and laggy, and then eventually the app will just shut off. It's just like, nope, can't encode anymore. So we'll cool off the temperature inside the truck. Yeah, I thought about that, but then everybody watching would, their speakers would blow, and Lord help anybody listening with earphones. So you know why the temperature is going up, don't you? You know, down, and I saw that our fella in Florida there said his temperature's up to 34 and he had a frown face. My temperature's 36, and you know, it was like 15 degrees here last night. And you could just say, oh well, the sun came out, Mark, that's why. Well, it's not just that. You get a little bit of what we call solar insolation, but the main reason the temperature went up, you know, 17 degrees is because this is a nor'easter, as they call it, and our winds from Florida all the way up the East Coast are now easterly or northeasterly or whatever. And what's to the northeast of us? The ocean. And the ocean is in the 40s, 50s, whatever, 30s further north. And so the temperature moderates because the air is coming off the ocean. not until the system goes past and you get that wraparound moisture and cold air can you really start cranking up the snow. And it's weird because it doesn't always work that way. Sometimes there's plenty of cold air, especially aloft, that gets cranked down, and so the air column stays cold all the way through. These things are very complicated. But you get a strong northeast wind that gradually builds up, and that brings the temperature up in a lot of cases to above freezing. But I've seen all kinds of stuff on social media of accumulating snow in Georgia, South Carolina line, up into South Carolina proper. So it's coming. Did they ever pick up all the debris down there in South Florida? Right, the Gulf Stream, of course, is even warmer, and that's aiding in some of the convective activity. Ryan, you just drive over to where it snowed. HurricaneTrack.com subscribers, Dwayne and Carrie, and I saw John on there, and Peter. And we have Ma Florida. That's how I know the name. I don't know what your name is, though. You gotta post it on our chat on Hurricane Track. It's good to see everybody. It's nice to be out and about again after a hell of a hurricane season. Speaking of which, I've been working on the documentary. It's going to be over 2 hours, and I'm probably halfway done. And I take a lot of pride in putting it together. It's not just a highlights, you know, here's all the best stuff, whatever. You know, it's not a, it's a full documentary. If you know my other stuff, you know exactly what I'm talking about. And I'm just very meticulous. I don't get to work on it 8 hours a day or anything either. Family obligations and just other things. But I am working on it. I do my own music, compose. I don't write notes down on a sheet music or anything, but I create my own music, play it myself on synthesizers. You know, I can replicate strings and, you know, anything in an orchestral score I can pretty much do. So, you know, I got to get the music right. I got to write the thing and narrate it and edit it. And then I try to put some nice maps and graphics, satellite pictures, radar loops, and stitch everything together to tell a coherent story. And that takes time. But it'll be ready, and I gotta look and see if I can put it on YouTube as a rental. You know, something like $3, rent it for $3, $5, something like that. It's in high definition, of course, so that's good. And so far, it's really good. I like it. You know, when I watch it and go look at my progress, what you call it, spotting. You go through and you're trying to figure out. You know, it's almost like when they make a movie, and they shoot stuff, and then they have what are called dailies, where they go back and look at what they shot. You know, I'll do some work, and then I render it out, and then I upload it to my YouTube channel on an unlisted link, so that I can watch it myself the same way that you're going to watch it. And then I go through and I notice, oh, okay, at 16 minutes and 4 seconds, I need to bump the audio of the narration up and drop the wind down a little bit or whatever. I mean, that stuff takes time. Oh, that's an interesting looking car. That's almost painful on the eyes to look at. It's one of those disappearing cars. But you'll like it. It's going to be good. So the very first release of the documentary, you know, because I do need to raise some money, will be for people that want to rent it or buy it on DVD or whatever. And then, you know, like a week later, 2 weeks later, I'll figure out something. Yes, I'll put it on publicly and probably put like non-skippable video ads every 15 minutes or something. It's my job, you know. I've got to make a paycheck like everybody else, and it's not a big money maker. That's not why I do it. But to recoup a little bit, you know, enough to take the family out to dinner or something. But it'll be on DVD. It'll be on, you know, YouTube as a rental at first or whatever. I got to figure all that out. If I can't do it as a rental on YouTube, I'll probably set it up through PayPal or something, or, you know, encourage somebody to get on Patreon. Yeah, hey, look, if you become a patron for the year, I'll send you a copy or whatever. There's lots of different ways. But in the end, I want people to see it. So, you know, a couple weeks after the release, where I have to charge for it, I will make it publicly available, yes. And all the other ones I've ever done are on there already. 04, 05, 08. And then 09 through 16 is like its own two-part series. I didn't do one for several years. Probably should have done one after 2012. Don't know why I didn't. So I did sort of like a catch-up for last year. It was 09 through 15 in part 1, and it covered everything we were doing from 2009 on until 2015, including the evolution of the new video streaming, you know, the boxes and how they evolved from big, bulky, heavy, whatever, to small, lightweight, and unbelievable. And we have done some amazing things with those tiny little boxes in just 3 years, 2 years, 3 years, whatever it is now. Yeah, this is the 3rd year. We started in 2015 with the new camera system. Actually started it in late 2012, and it took a couple years to get the battery system to evolve so that lithium batteries would power everything. And that really came to fruition in 2015. So you got a battery pack the size of a Bible. You know, your standard hotel room Bible. And that'll run this equipment that we put out there, in some cases, for more than 3 days. That's pretty remarkable stuff. Yep, if you ever get bored, I mean, not even bored, if you're just interested in it, just go through my channel and search Tracking the Hurricanes. You know, I'm just slack sometimes. keep thinking that I need to make a playlist of the entire series from 04 through last year. Maybe after this trip I'll finally do that. Make it easy on people. Well, where is it? And even that, you'll see how things have evolved from square video, 4:3, to widescreen, and now, full-on high definition, and eventually, within a few years, everything we do will be in 4K. Ultra high definition 4K. Alright, so I'm in Jacksonville, North Carolina. Next stop will be New Bern. Well, the next stop is going to be somewhere so I can use the restroom. As Forrest Gump said to John F. Kennedy, I gotta pay. I believe the young man said he had to pee. That was funny. But I gotta go to the bathroom. Too much tea and water from earlier. And then I'll head up to New Bern. Man, the temperature here is up to 37. What the heck? It's posted a picture on Twitter. A lone lightning bolt out in the ocean. South of Oak Island. No preset around it or anything, just if you're following me on Twitter, check it out. And remember, if you're a subscriber on our HurricaneTrack site, the Twitter embed over there on the left automatically refreshes, and so anything I post shows up there instantaneously. Yeah, baby. It's weird, there's just this one lightning bolt out in the ocean. Starting to see just a little bit of reflectivity in the Wilmington area. Of course, I'm up here in Jacksonville. Not really seeing anything on radar up here. Air temperature 37 degrees. grew up in New Bern, most of my childhood years anyway. Thunder snow, people are saying on Twitter. Uh-oh. All right, Jacksonville, North Carolina. Please keep me posted on how things are there, even though you are at work. "38 degrees now." That's not good. I'm going to pull into this giant gas station. So I got to go pay. Of course, how the hell do you get there? Okay. You got to go up and do a U-turn. What a bummer. Let's make it as difficult as possible to get to the gas station. I think they built it on the wrong corner. And look, I don't even get, I gotta wait for a green arrow. Oh, look, at least it flashes. Okay. There's some hope. Come on, people. Ugh. Dreadful. 38 degrees. That just, yuck. There, hold my calls, will you? I'll be back. All right, that place is crowded. Figure while I'm here, let's take a quick look at everything. Seeing if there are any changes. Doesn't really look like it. Well, Tell you what, Southeast Jersey near Atlantic City just really looks like a good area. And you know, it's not that far from where I am. If I don't stop and goof off any. I got 3 cameras that I can put out. I'll fix the camera here in just a second. There you are. So I got 3 of these little unmanned camera boxes that I can put out. But, you know, I want to get it right. And down here, it's like most of this is going to happen overnight. Man, this is just a convoluted gas station deal. There we go. Whereas New Jersey would have some really good action from sunrise on for a few hours tomorrow, you know, that we could all see. I've got a camera in Wilmington, so I might skip New Bern and maybe put one in Elizabeth City, because they're in a blizzard warning in that area. Maybe one in Southeast Virginia somewhere. And I should be able to go across the Chesapeake Bay Bridge Tunnel today. I don't think there's any issues today. And go ahead on up into New Jersey. And pick a good spot somewhere in Southeast New Jersey. And in this case, not even necessarily trying to get waves and storm surge and whatever, but just kind of a good perspective with the camera to show the blowing snow, you know, any travel impacts, try to capture all of that in one shot. So maybe somewhere along the Atlantic City Expressway, I don't know. Our friend Mike Adams, man, it's up to 39 degrees here. This is ridiculous. Our good friend Mike Adams lives up there. I'm seriously considering making my way up there by tonight. this time I'm looking for a good spot so that we can see the blowing snow and maybe some traffic and not really worried about the coastal impact per se. You know the area. Think of a very busy boulevard or highway that has a lot of traffic, so that we can see kind of everything come together with a lot of blowing snow tomorrow, stuff like that. Do you guys have any assets in Atlantic City? Question mark. I've got it covered, period. Looks like it may be a really good spot for a few hours tomorrow during daylight, period. I've got a camera in Wilmington. I will put one in Elizabeth City, one in Norfolk area, and one in Atlantic City. I'm already en route along Highway 17. So it's going to be a few hours before I get there, obviously. I want to make sure we get as much during the day tomorrow as possible. Alright, so I guess you heard me talking to my various colleagues. Not gonna put a camera in New Bern. Gonna go for Elizabeth City, the Norfolk area, and Atlantic City. I already have one back at my hometown in Wilmington. Could be close to midnight, LOL. Exclamation point. I am coming up Highway 17. My destination will be Atlantic City tonight, period. Can you tell me the best way to get there, question mark? Since it is early, one would assume there are no problems yet with bridges or ferries, question mark. What I'm going to do, since there's nothing to see and nothing happening, and I do have to pay for the data that I'm using, this won't be a popular thing, but nothing happening. So I'm going to turn the stream off and save my data. In the off season, it's a premium, believe me. And like later tonight, when I get towards New Jersey or whatever, I will try to put the stream back on, because I want to be able to stream a lot tomorrow, of course. I will post video clips to Twitter, so, and some, of course, to YouTube if they're longer. So check that out. Follow me on Twitter at HurricaneTrack. But, I mean, honestly, I'm just wasting bandwidth here. And, you know, time and data is money, and it's up to me to be responsible. So I'm going to say goodbye for now, and you know what, before I do, let me grab the link to the camera in Wilmington, if I can. And I'm going to post it on the YouTube chat, and you can watch that. See if it'll let me. It's a Nest Cam, so I'm still learning it. Outside. Schedule notifications. Sharing. There we go. What's the link? Well, what's the link? Oh man, really? Let's see if I get the link. Well, it's not letting me do a link. Darn it, it won't let me share the link. Wait a minute. No, that won't work. Thought I had it, but yeah, from the app I can't generate a link. I'd have to do it from the web. So that's a bummer. Anyway, I'm gonna shut this off for now. The goal is to have something amazing for tomorrow. And when I get the camera set up in Elizabeth City and the Norfolk area, and then eventually near Atlantic City late tonight, all of those I'll post on Twitter. And so check that. All right. So if you're in the winter storm, be careful, be safe, don't do anything dumb. I'll try to follow that mantra myself, and I'll be up before the sun comes up tomorrow. And have coverage all day from somewhere in southeast New Jersey. Atlantic City, Point South, whatever. We'll just see what the storm does, all right? So have a good rest of your Wednesday afternoon. Thanks for watching this boring, nothing at all happening yet coverage of the winter storm. And I'll have more for you either very late tonight or certainly by daybreak tomorrow.